Welcome back to West Texas View.
We were talking about safe sex and some of the ways that we're trying to educate people of all ages the dangers of transmission of HIV virus. And so continue that conversation.
Okay, actually there is no safe sex today. I call it safer sex. You can cut your odds down, but there's nothing you can do to be totally safe. Such as HPV, you get from the skin-to-skin touch around where the condom fits.
But can you say, I'm not going to have sex with you until you go and get me a clean bill of health?
You better believe it, and that's what you should do. When I talk to the kids, I tell them to find a period at the end of a sentence and look at that period and think about the fact that in the size of that period, we can fit approximately 300,000 HIV viruses. That's how small it is. And then I ask them, do you think you can see a pinhole in a condom the size that one of those tiny viruses can go through? You cannot.
That's a good point.
I also ask them, and I ask adults, and do you know that adults do not know this? And we need to get this information to parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles. Everybody is something to a young person. So we need to get the information to them. Okay. But I tell them there's only one condom on the market today that might protect you. Is it Trojan, lambskin, or latex? I get everything. What do you think it is?
I have no idea.
Well, most people don't. Most kids say Trojan. Well, Trojan makes latex and lambskin. Lambskin is too thin and that virus is too tiny. It has to be latex. Has to be used with water-based lubricant. All kinds of things that we tell them.
I don't want to know about this. You know, isn't that the way most people do?
The kids sit there, and when I tell my story, they cry when they tell this, you know, and all the things. But then I tell them you don't want to do something without doing all the things that we teach them, because then you have no protection at all. So there's just so much that young people need to know
tell what
about the world.
Your daughter said.
Well, among her friends, they were saying, our children are so young, we don't want to discuss this at this point. And she said, take your child to the doctor. How many vaccines have your children had since birth? It's just another vaccine. And you don't have to explain it until you're ready to talk about it.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Well, listen, we need to talk, and we're going to come back and talk about some of the statistics, but this is a United Way agency because the United Way is just our most wonderful group in town that goes out and collects and gives it to all these worthy agencies, and so it's so wonderful that y'all are now a United Way agency. But you have in funding for medications and all the different ways you support families, and then your education materials. How do you pay for that? And as Secretary of the Board, that's a really important point for you.
We are supported by both Midland and Odessa United Ways, for which we're grateful.
Thank you. I wanted to say that.
However, we do need to supplement that with fundraising. And so I encourage people in Odessa, people in Midland, who are interested in volunteering, we would love to speak to you. We did do a first-time event this year. We have had some in the past, Broadway in the Basin and Masquerade Ball. But we did Vegas on the Rooftop, and it was on the roof of the garage of the Faskin Center. And the environment was wonderful. We had it early enough in the evening that you could stand and watch the sun go down, and it was gorgeous. But it was fun, and that's what we want to do, is get the word out. We will do this event again next year.
Was it a dance?
It was a dance. It was casino. We had a wonderful band, the Jumping Giants from Odessa. We had people from Midland and Odessa involved, and it was casino. We had an auction, a live auction. We had casino prizes that people were able to walk home with, which they enjoyed, and food, everything you would want.
you raised a lot of money.
We did raise money,
and that
yes, ma'am.
went about half and half for AIDS support. To families and your education.
But to keep our education and this support going for these families, we do need to encourage everybody to come get involved in this fundraiser, and We do have a couple of fundraisers a year, but this is our large event. And again, I encourage Odessa and Midland both to get involved. You saw our phone number earlier on the screen. So,
and one of the things that I always want to talk about when we talk about volunteers is because that's the way to really get people understanding and helping you spread the news is you've got a million little jobs or they can do it on a regular basis, but if they don't do anything but come and help you put on this fabulous fundraiser, or if they don't do anything but man the phones one afternoon a week, there's a lot of things they can do. And you have a lot of families who come in and volunteer after they have received so much support.
Some, yes. I want to emphasize that our mission is about saving lives. And if anyone is interested in helping us get this word out about prevention education so that more people do not have to go through what so many of our clients are going through, and we're getting more and more every month. That in itself is something that should appeal to mothers and fathers and grandparents and aunts and uncles, is helping us get this word out. We don't want it to
because ignorance and innocence is killing people.
It is, and the complacency. We have kids that tell us all the time, I know you saved my life because I was so sexually active before I heard you speak. I did not know I was risking my life. They do not know that they live in a world that's different to any world we've had before.
And they say, oh, there's new ways to do all this stuff.
They try to figure it out.
I hope you have learned as much today as I have about this problem that is not going away. We have got to pay attention and do what we can to help these this group that's doing all they can in this whole Permian Basin area. Anywhere you are, if you want anything to know anything, call that number that was rolling across the screen, and we'll see you next Sunday with another program. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB TV and KWES TV.